it is like when you send out some kind of an intervention, send an invitation to an intervention, then it's really, you know, I have felt that many times too, that this attitude of believing that we can draw on some beneficial forces that support the setting, the client situation, and immediately when I just open up this call for help, you could also call it, then I really feel that something changes in the space. There is an opening, and it's not like, you know, everything is just clear, but that's just a movement of a different type of energy that I'm not experiencing when I'm just forgetting about it and I'm just so absorbed in me and my client. There's something, an extra dimension that is so beautiful in this type of work when we have a transpersonal perspective on the client work. Okay. How?
And it's it's always useful, and it's whether the client is open to the transpersonal or not, it doesn't matter.
No, exactly. Yes, exactly, because we are always allowed to draw on all positive energies to solve a solution, and I'm quite in agreement that the client does not need to agree in any of it. They are there because they want to work through some issues, and everything that helps, no matter where it comes from. So I like that approach. Do you have any? I just followed the flow now. Do you have any thoughts or conceptions about what is intervening? You know, sometimes we could have an understanding. I can say, for my own sake, I believe that the client and I have helpers, inner helpers, and it could be guardian angels, or it could be the higher self in itself. But I have had some experiences with client work where I felt the presence of, I would say, an angelic being. Have you had any of these types of experiences?
Sure.
Sure.
I've had many kinds of spiritual experiences myself, both privately and with clients. And for me, this is not something that I can work at will, but sometimes I can see the deceased of the clients in the room.
Oh.
So, and or can hear them.
So the family members from the grandmothers and like that?
Yes, that's right.
Wow. Okay.
So that is particularly when clients are grieving, and in a grieving process, that I'm sort of sometimes become a conduit to relay some kind of solace, warmth, love, which always brings, as you said, an extra dimension to the therapy.
Yeah.
But I'm always very cautious. It's nothing that it's nothing that I bluntly say to the client. I sort of ask them about their belief system, not to intrude on what they believe. But if the client is open to that kind of thought, I present it to them, and it always adds something positive to their process.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, this is very, very beautiful. I'm also reminded of, the family constellations, the work with, when we work like that in a group where we can bring in these ancestral dimensions. And it's so, many people, especially if people don't have any understanding or belief in the afterlife, then it can be a very, very powerful experience to have such a presence of an old soul that you are connected to. So yeah, and I think this is, and even though we don't have to conceptualize it into any particular religious concept, because we find this type of experience. I would not call it belief, actually, because it is, of course, there are beliefs about it, but they are related to direct experiences. And we find them in Hinduism, in Buddhism, in Christianity, in Judaism, everywhere, people have these types of encounters. And of course, a loving connection continue past this life. And if we are able to help people in their present situation from behind the veil, I have encountered this too, that a beloved grandmother becomes present in the therapy, and it's such a powerful. It's often a very dense feeling of love that really permeates the atmosphere, and I always start crying, and I'm getting touched now because I start thinking about some of these experiences, and it's so beautifully that we can help our loved ones from behind the veil.
And it always leaves me with a very profound sense of gratitude.
Yes.
To partake in that kind of process.
Yeah. In some way, we become midwives between this life and the dimensions beyond. Midwives for important transformations, because people can be very, very stuck if they have lost a dear relative, and this sadness can be very limiting in their lives. So if they can have such a glimpse and feel such love, then it's easier to let go of this attachment, because life continues.
And additionally, I think it brings healing to the client.
Yeah, definitely.
To release some of the pain that is that the client is carrying.
Yeah.
And with such an encounter, a sense of peace enters the room very often, and leaves the client with and sort of a new insights. And often it has to do with some kind of knowledge that, or understanding or insight that the deceased relative or friend still exist and is in a good place.
Yeah, exactly.